The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Righteous Felon Craft Jerky is the official jerky of Belly Up Sports. For over a decade, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky has led the American meat snack revolution by concocting delicious, adventurous, U.S.-sourced jerky recipes for uncompromising carnivores across the country. With 15 different flavors to choose from, Righteous Felon has all jerky lovers covered, and by using promo code BELLYUP, you will get 15% off your purchase at righteousfelon.com. Do your taste buds a favor today and rip into a bag of Righteous Felon jerky. The 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, for beer, sports talk, and a whole lot more. This segment is brought to you by Righteous Felon Jerky and righteousfelon.com. Use promo code BELLYUP at checkout at righteousfelon.com for the best in craft beef jerky in the land. Save 15% at righteousfelon.com by using promo code BELLYUP at checkout. And Dave, I didn't order that one, so next time you're going down there, make sure you let us know when you're going down. I'll get it done there, and we'll make sure we get a load of
If we ever get these
jerky.
fucking baseball tryouts done, Jasper's still trying out for baseball. He has another tryout next week. So it's been 4 weeks of fucking tryouts already.
You're not paying every weekend, are you?
No, it was like $50 to try out.
Something for the week, like it's one deal.
Yeah,
and everything else.
whatever. Yeah, but no, like he had to go. Jasper had to go on. He had to go set because it was now it's pitchers and catchers tryout, and he does both. So there was 3 sessions on Saturday, 3 sessions on Sunday. So he had a pitching session and a catching session on Saturday, and then he had a catching session on Sunday.
Do his coaches know that he is an employee of the Leopards Bulls?
I have not told them.
You should probably mention that. We'll make that work.
Well, it's not going to hurt. And maybe so he had ball tonight. That's why I was a little bit late picking him up. Maybe I should send him with a Bull shirt. We'll get him a Bull shirt.
He'll be the only one in the tryout with a Bull shirt on.
Right, because he went high end with the golf shirt when he was playing when he was helping out there at the stadium the other day. Like he didn't think about something that he wanted to wear maybe when he was at the ball games, at the ball practices.
Yeah, so we'll figure that out with Jasper. I'm sure he'll be fine. The kid, he loves baseball, and that's half the battle with it. And honestly, I think I watched him pitch. He's good. He loves it. And I think that's what these coaches, I didn't want to get into this thing, but it's kind of the way it kind of worked out. I think coaches really have to watch that. Is that if a kid is passionate about it, that is an extra added tick on the yes, no, maybe so's. That if a kid is passionate about baseball and he loves it, then he gets that little bit. Because you're going to get that little bit of extra work ethic out of it. You might get that if there's a Saturday morning practice maybe that Johnny doesn't want to go to, like that kind of stuff I think should matter a lot. And if it's not the parents saying, like, you'll drive Jasper there, you aren't, like, you'll take him there, but you're not taking him there.
Right. It's not get your shit. It's like, you be ready, and we have
Jasper's dragging you into the car because he can't drive himself.
Well, yeah, like it's my kid, and that's the discussion we have when he does have these ball sessions during the winter. It's like all I say to him is, okay, ball's at 6:30. What time do you want to leave? I want to leave at 6:10. Okay, and at 6:05,
he's ready.
I just give him a holler and and it's like, tell me when I'm ready when you are, bud. And he, okay, let's go, and then we go. Yeah. Like it doesn't take. It's like, all your shit done, and then his shit's done. Right, like, so that's baseball is his carrot, which is a good thing. Yeah, and he's a pleaser. Well, not to his dad, but to his coaches, he is. Like he's picking up balls, he's dragging, picking up bases like after the end of the games. Like he's one of those kids.
The girls around the office today were asking when the staff was coming back. I said probably next Friday. We'll figure that out. So we'll have a chat with Jasper during the week to see when he's going to come back. Dave, a couple of weeks back, we tried to get it on it last Thursday, but we were talking about the Kiprusoff retirement ceremony and everything else, and it was a great conversation. But I was watching something. I think it was last Tuesday or Wednesday, and David Duval's face came. It was a Tiger Woods through the ages thing, and David Duval's mug came across the screen, and I thought, whatever happened to that fucking guy? Because he was right, like he was 1-2 in the rankings, the USGA and the PGA, and on it went with David Duval, and you're like,
And Tiger.
David Duval and Tiger, the head to head, the blah blah blah. Duval didn't turn out to be fuck all. Like his career was short and over and done, and then he didn't. Like I'm sure I don't know his stats off the top of my head, but all I remember about him was his sunglasses. Other than that,
Yeah.
I don't recall anything else about David Duval. He did a whole bunch of not winning.
I think he won a couple majors early on, like with Tiger, right? Like I believe Duval won a British Open, and I believe he did this and that, and then like it was going to be this is golf's next greatest rivalry, Tiger Woods, David Duval, and I also recall Duval shooting a 59 to win a tournament, like not a major, obviously, and it was like holy fuck, these two. It's going to be fun to watch these two play golf for the next 10, 15 years. Maybe the next 10, 15 minutes, because David Duval just fell off a fucking cliff. I don't know if I don't know the pressure, and even he was significantly older. And I think of Marco Mira, right? He won back-to-back Masters there for a bit, and then he was fucking gone. I get it. He was a ton older than Tiger, but I think athletic careers, right? You catch fire for 3 to 4 years, and then you either decide to cash in, and then I don't know what makes you lose it. The fact that you can't focus on your sport anymore because now you're a superstar, like Donaldson, like we talked about. He had 3-4 years of flying too close to the sun. Marco Mira, David Duval. And then all of a sudden they're gone. Rory McIlroy, like, sure, like McIlroy was supposed to be a Tiger type person, and he's always been really good, top 10 consistently, but he hasn't won a major in a fucking hound's age either.
Like you look back at Tiger's, because obviously Tiger got between guys' ears a lot, and that's like Mickelson overtook Duval at that point, and Mickelson won himself a couple of Masters and everything else that was going on. And this isn't the segment's not just about golf, but the way that these megastars like Tiger and Jordan and Gretzky, the way they can get between the also-rans, and I'll say they're also-rans because obviously, like those guys, like those three guys I just mentioned, are next level guys. The way they can get and we'll put Lemieux in that, and we can go on and on it goes for the next level guys like Tom Brady as well. The way that they can find a way to get between the ears of the also-rans. It's unbelievable because these alpha males, and we could talk about some alpha females, but these alpha males who are the next level guys, it must drive the guys who are striving to get to that next point. It must drive them absolutely fucking nuts. Like, what do I got to do? And then you work so hard to not even beat for your team to win. You're just trying to beat that guy. And that's detrimental to your team sometimes.
Yeah, that makes sense. And we're looking at it right now with Josh Allen and the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't say the Bills and the Chiefs. Like I should say Josh Allen and the Chiefs, right? Because Allen, every time, like not every time, the last time they had that opportunity, which was in the playoffs this year, Josh Allen shit the bed. He just, you try so hard to be the guy that you want to beat that you end up making those mistakes that doesn't make you the guy. And I wrote a couple names down here. Like you mentioned Gretzky and Lemieux. Like who's number 3 on that list? Is it Jagger gets forgotten, right? So Messier has his place because he went and won that cup with the Rangers. But what does Jagger have? Does he have a cup without Lemieux? Like he's
No.
see the ultimate. He's the ultimate passenger, right? And then maybe in another era, he's the best player in NHL. But he had to deal with Gretzky and Lemieux, and then arguably Messier. Like I think Jagger was a far more talented offensive player than Messier, and I don't know if Jagger was a driver or a passenger, but
I would rather, because I'm not a Messier guy for whatever reason. It's just, I'm just a dickhead, I guess. But I would way rather have a Messier than a Jagger, because Messier was like a driver, right? One of those drivers and passenger things you talked about a couple weeks back, like one of those guys. But Jagger, he was so good, but not even close to Lemieux.
Gretzky and Lemieux, yeah,
Like not even close.
and so he was the top. Like he's kind of like a Draisaitl, right? Top 5 player in the league, but the second best player on
Like did Jagger win an MVP?
his team. I do not know as the goal scoring. I'm sorry, as the point champ, but I would not. I'd be surprised if he had an MVP. I'd really be surprised. Yeah, that's an Jagger's like top 5 points all time.
I would think so. Like I don't exactly know, but yeah, he's got to be right there.
God, we gotta look at shit like that. And you know,
Like,
and another name I have. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. It doesn't. Yeah, go nuts.
Well, like I'm gonna switch sports here, and you and I don't know NBA at all. Someone who does have 2 MVPs, Steve Nash, with the Phoenix Suns. Like, but he just had a fucking run into Duncan in the Spurs and Kobe and Shaq with the Lakers. Like that fucker was so good. All 6, like he looks 6 feet, but I think he's 6'4".
I saw him in person at actually in Phoenix. I went to a baseball game there, and he wasn't sitting too far from me. And he's tall, and I'm 6'2" and a little bit. I think I'm touted at 6'3" now. So like you look at the guy. I've actually grown for some reason, which is weird. But he's 6'4", 6'5". Like he's a bigger guy, but he just looks so small compared to those other guys. Steve Nash had a hell of a career, but he's also ran around like he's Canada's greatest basketball player probably, but he's also ran the big pitch because he didn't win fuck all.
Because out of the West, it was,
and that's the problem. And that's the problem with team sports, is that if you don't have a couple of pieces here and there, like all right, I was really good, but my team stunk, or I was just good enough, but I wasn't good enough to get my team over the hump, and that's what makes these the mega stars that much better. Is that they're that guy who gets their team over the hump. Like you have to have that guy at some point who catches lightning in a bottle, who just says, "Okay, we're doing this." The Jordans, yeah, I'll say it. Like Jordan probably carried some of those teams that might not have been the most talented, but he goes, "Jump on my back, we're going somewhere." Right?
Like,
and Kobe's the same way, and everything else. Like,
yeah, I demand that you get on it, like Jordan, like going to a hotel room in Vegas and saying to Rodman, like, your fun's done. Get your fucking ass back on the fucking bus. We got a fucking job to do. And then that's what Jordan did with the Bulls. And Shaq, Shaq wasn't a driver. Shaq is the ultimate passenger. Shaq is the ultimate passenger. he's God said to him, "I'm going to make you the biggest, most agile person on the fucking planet, and you can play basketball." Kobe drove that bus, and it was proven. Like Shaq has a great personality. Shaq has the body and ability to play basketball like no other man. But Shaq decided he wasn't going to work on it. He was just going to let his natural ability take rule of the day. Whereas Kobe drove that fucking bus, and he demanded more from everybody.
Like, you want to like we talk about guys who just never got over the hump because of other guys that didn't that were just that much better. You look back at those, and we've talked about before on our show. I think like the Winnipeg Jets back in the 80s and in the '80s before they moved out to Phoenix. Like Dale Howardchuck and those fucking Jets teams, they were great.
Kachuk, Carlisle,
Like actually great.
Timos, yeah.
And for a long time, but they had two teams. They had two teams in the division in front of them, the Calgary Flames and of course Gretzky's Oilers. They didn't stand a fucking chance. So is that Howardchuck's fault that he just couldn't get that level because he's a Hall of Famer, or is it just because Gretzky and his band of merry men were that much better? Because even the Jets, they weren't even as good as those Flames teams like the Flames had they had a few good players. They had a lot of plumbers like over the like they just had those kind of guys, and Kent Harris, Mike Vernon was playing in net. So it's just like Hall of Famers are one thing, and we talk about the Hall of Famer. I love Hall of Fame debates, but Hall of Famers are one thing, but it's those next level guys who just fucking go and they fuck with people's heads, and they just because it's got to drive those like Hall of Fame guys nuts. That I can't like what's my legacy if I can't beat this team? I'm nothing. They must think that they have to.
And your that Winnipeg Jets comparison is so excellent because honestly, in the mid '80s, the mid to early '80s, Winnipeg may have been the fifth best team in the NHL. The only problem was they had to face two teams
in their division
that were 1 and 3, right? The Oilers and the Flames, and then you like pick the Bruins one year, pick the Flyers one year,
Islanders
like,
or whatever it was, yeah,
whatever it was. But like for a couple years there, Winnipeg was literally a top 5 team in the NHL,
and weren't close.
They weren't close because you had to snow through 2 of them.
Like
and one of them,
you could compare the '80s Jets to the Buffalo Bills, like the nowadays Buffalo Bills, same thing. Like you could say Josh Allen and fucking Dale Howardchuck are the same player.
Same, right? 1 year, like I think 1 or 2 years, they did beat the Flames, but then what?
Then they had to play Edmonton,
and then you had to go to Edmonton, and it was done. And
we're done.
And then we're fucking done because we're tired from playing so hard to upset the Flames.
So we go 7 against these guys, and then we got to face these fucking guys.
5.
We're done.
They
only was 5. The first round was 5 back then. But yeah.
I get it, but now we got to go against these fuckers.
It's the same thing as Buffalo's got.
Who just fucking swept the LA Kings, right, in their purple and golds.
Like what? Like if Mahomes, not Mahomes, if Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. And Joe Burrow, if they don't do anything in the next 3 to 4 years, and there's 3 of them, so they're not obviously like all 3 aren't. That's not how sports works. All 3 of them are not accomplishing unless one wins Super Bowl each time. All 3 of them are just Dale Howardchuck. Which is a great career. Don't get me wrong. Like Dale Howardchuck is one of my sister's all-time favorites. But you're just, your Hall of Fame plaque says you have this many wins, and that's it. Well,
I'd rather be a Dale Howardchuck than a Mike Palmateer. like there's no one ever.
But
like
you know what I mean,
Toronto
like
played.
that
I do know
next
what you mean.
that next level.
The next level, and that's not just talent. That's a luck of circumstance of where you are and what franchise you are with. Um, so let's Ray Bork is Dan Marino, but Dan Marino didn't ask for a trade to go be the new Steve Young in San Francisco, right? It's
Like,
do you get a little bit of credit for allegiance to your team and not chasing a cup? Or does Ray Bork, you know what I'm saying? Like, without Ray Bork asking for a trade so I can
he doesn't
find
win a
a
cup.
cup, he doesn't win a cup. His career's the exact same, and like so, it's
Bork
him
and
and Dan
Bork
Marino.
and Marino are the same guy, but Bork said, "I'm fucking. Can I go to Colorado?" Because they were guaranteed to win that year. Not guaranteed, but like
Well, but
there was an 87% chance they're winning that year.
if you were putting money on before game one, that was 100 to win 110 kind of thing.
Do you consider Marino to be?
I think Marino's better than Steve Young. I think
I don't think he
Marino.
is.
I think Marino is better than Roger Staubach. I think Marino is better than Ben Roethlisberger. I think Marino is better is the same as Jim Kelly. Maybe better. No, he's better than Jim Kelly. I think Marino and Brett Favre are the same person.
Is Marino better than Ray Bork?
No.
Not even close.
No, I don't think so.
Like, not even close.
There's Ray Bork was an all-time great man without a cup.
You could almost say that Marino was a stats pattern.
You know what? You're right, because he was the best thing that they had, and he threw for a shit ton of yards because he had to. Right? Because he had to. That's the only way.
Because maybe he wanted to.
No, I think they had to.
No, what I'm getting at is like, let's keep building this around me. Let's keep I think the Marino brand might have hurt Marino's legacy as a winning quarterback. I think the Marino brand was more important to Dan Marino than winning football games.
But at the time, though, as well, the player didn't have as much say as they do now.
Dan Marino did, though.
We don't know, right? We honestly, I don't know.
I know people.
You know,
I don't know anybody.
Don Shula was a hard-nosed coach. He was an old school coach, and he won Super Bowls with other teams.
They just win enough games, right? Every year in, year out, the money comes in, the commercials and this and that and everything else. I mean, it's all conspiracy theory podcast bullshit, but it kind of, like, for them to be licking the jar for as long as they did, it kind of smells a little bit looking back in hindsight.
I'm not going to say you're wrong. I'm not going to say you're wrong. I never really
like how are we this close every year and just don't get over the hump? We have a guy who throws for like a career is 50,000 yards, whatever it was. That might be a lofty number. Who knows? But like it's looking back on Marino's career, it smells a little bit like it was the Miami Marinos.
That's not untrue, but like Mark Duper, I remember him, super duper. The NFC was dominant. Specifically, the NFC East was so dominant back in that day. You had the Joe Gibb Redskins. You had the Steve Walsh Niners, and then you even had Jimmy Johnson's fucking one stars coming through that division, and the Giants and Bill Parcells Giants. They were all so good. The NFC was so goddamn good for those little bits. And and as an AFC guy, I'm happy to see that the AFC has dominated over the last 20 years. Because I was so sick of watching NFC teams win the fucking Super Bowl. And I fucking hate.
You're old.
I am old,
No,
but
I know. It's just funny.
But since Brady came on the scene, Brady and Peyton, it's been AFC teams, not every year, but most years. Because when I was a kid cheering for my Broncos and watching the Bills eat it, it was always the NFC East and the 49ers. Those are they just fucking, if they're in the game, they're gonna fucking win every time.
Take your personal opinion aside. Who is better, Dan Marino or Alex Ovechkin? Same guy.
Ovechkin. Because
and won a championship.
He has a ring, and he's when Marino retired, he had passing yards and whatever, he was the leader. But as a legitimate threat, I hate Ovechkin. But I have to give him the nod
and that's
here.
the thing. Looking back, fucking hindsight's always 20/20, right? And Marino put up big numbers, but no one was ever scared of him. It's all right, you're gonna fucking win your 10 games a year and throw for fucking 4,000 yards or whatever it might have been, and whatever. But when it comes to playoffs, you got the fucking you're more of a fucking your Fabutan fucking endorsement than anything else.
Right. It's just isotoner gloves. Remember that?
All in all, yeah. It's cold. Whenever I play somewhere in the playoffs, I got to wear isotoners. Well, maybe if you had a better team or if you're a better leader, you could play a home game now and then. There's so many of those guys.
I was only 16 years old, right, when Marino was in the league, right, and so him and Elway and I can't even remember who the other quarterbacks, Joe Montana, were kind of the gods right now, right? Yeah. So, excuse me.
It's funny. It's funny how it's every sport. How guys get better over the years, right? You should see Marino. I don't fucking. He couldn't have been that good. He was really good, obviously, but.
Yeah, threw for a zillion yards, but he couldn't and he rarely got sacked because the quick release, everything you talked about, you hear, you read or see about Dan Marino, his quick release, and he did have a quick release, and he had a fucking gun, and he had a cannon, and he was accurate and he was good, but he never won a Super Bowl. He only went to one and lost. So, how good were you?
Jeff Garcia, Doug Flutie, same thing. Okay. CFL legends, Jeff Garcia and Doug Flutie.
Who's better, Dan Marino or Warren Moon?
Warren Moon.
You think?
Oh, it ain't close, man. Five consecutive Grey Cups? Warren Moon.
And still got to the NFL Hall of Fame.
I would put money on it. Because didn't Marino go to Pitt?
Yes.
I would put money on it. That fucking Marino was too pretty and the tan wouldn't have been enough. He would never have told his fucking wares up in the Edmonton Eskimos in the CFL. Warren Moon is by far a better quarterback than Dan Marino.
And that was a racial thing back in the day, right? So Warren Moon, Washington Husky, didn't get drafted, came to the CFL, won 5 Grey Cups,
3 MVPs, blah blah blah.
I think he was amazing. And then he went.
His big receiver, Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly is wide receiver, number 80. Yeah. Why do I remember that? My mom's an Eskimos fan, right?
No, that's a good one, and I was an Eskimo fan at the time as well.
I loved the CFL back then.
Yeah, same, because my mom and dad did.
Yeah.
And so you got to watch the games, and so That is like, and Warren Moon did actually make the NFL Hall of Fame, I believe.
Pro Bowls, on it went. Oh yeah.
Oh, with that shit that Jack Pardee was running in Houston. That's the first NFL game I ever did see was in Houston in the Astrodome. Warren Moon versus Bernie Kosar. Warren Moon was such a better quarterback than Bernie Kosar.
If I to put her all on the line, Dave, I'm putting Warren Moon in over fucking Dan Marino.
I might agree with you on that. I'm glad I said that out loud because, Warren Moon put respect.
Warren Moon knows how to win.
Warren Moon put respect.
It may have been a different league, but he knows how to win. Dan Marino, he hadn't done fuck all but isotoner gloves and CBS on more whatever.
Dan Marino did play in one more Super Bowl than Warren Moon, though.
Played in one more than me too, so who cares? Whatever.
Yeah. Did you have that? I had the Edmonton Eskimo thing with the big holes in it. Do you know what shirt I'm talking about?
I had a Stampeders one.
Dave Ridgway or whatever the fuck his name was.
No, it was number 9.
Sandusky.
No, Sandusky was a BC Lion. I had number 9. I want to. What the fuck was his name? Not Roy DeWalt. It was Roy DeWalt. Yeah. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those things were so stupid. They were so stupid. They were stupid.
But a grade 9. I remember
everybody had one.
I wore one to the first day of school.
The Argonauts had the number 7 Conrad Holloway. The Blue Bombers had the number 8 Dieter Brock. Remember those?
It had those
are some names like Dieter Brock, Conrad Holloway.
Brock yeah.
Oh, because Dieter Brock went down to the LA Rams.
Yeah, he played for the Rams for a couple of years. Yeah.
Fuck, legends. Swervin Mervin Fernandez for the BC Lions. Unbelievable.
What a nickname. Yep.
He went to the Raiders. He went and played for the Raiders. Yeah.
Yep. And the kickers had great names.
Robo kicker, fucking
Lou Pasaglia.
Yeah, Louis Pasaglia.
Roy Osbaldiston.
Oh, I love to see it. I miss the old CFL. I do. I miss it.
I wish I could like it.
I gotta maybe this year, maybe this upcoming season, we'll figure something out. We'll set some up in the backyard here at Squamish Court, and we'll have a CFL watch party of some kind and try
every Thursday or something.
And we'll pick a team that we're actually going to follow and like actually grab a player and be our guy.
Because I think they go Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
And then the odd fucking Monday and two. I don't fucking.
Well, just on long weekends, but nonetheless, there is some. Like you and I both have fond CFL
great memories. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, but I haven't given it much thought in the last 15 years. So maybe you and I can resurrect this.
We'll resurrect the CFL single-handedly here at the 1420 podcast, courtesy of Righteous Felon Jerky. Go to righteousfelon.com and get the best in craft jerky and save yourself 15% by using promo code BELLYUP at righteousfelon.com.